Welcome back to the Computomics podcast. We are releasing this podcast on Thanksgiving Day, and we actually recorded it the day after elections in the US. Both very human mindset oriented days, at least here. And today's episode is actually one with an incredibly intelligent and well-respected breeder, but we are talking more about the need to connect on a human level and those aspects of human mindset that are so important to driving the field forward. I hope this resonates with you in the same way that our technical interviews do, and here's the episode. So Sankalp, welcome to the episode, and thank you so much for being here. And thank you for all the work that we've done together this year. We have worked on a project that's really focused on bringing climate resilient varieties to the areas that are really suffering from global hunger. And it's a project that has really given me the opportunity to focus on the possibility of human nature and the possibility of collaboration, and has given me a sort of a respite from maybe all of the anxiety that is in this world. And so I'm really grateful for that. And of course, I got to know you and your whole team. And we also had the opportunity to learn that although we live really half a world apart, we share one common alma mater in Germany at the University of Hohenheim, which is really fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, Anna. I think it's true what you have said in the context of the work we do, and I think I greatly enjoyed working with you ever since we got introduced, by Josh in PAG in San Diego. I think ever since it has been a very very fruitful effort, to be with Computomics and you in general. So I think I appreciate that. It's been you've been very forthcoming, and I think it's true. Oftentimes as we move forward, we try to look back and see where we have come. As we deal with the situation of life, we always reflect, and I think it's a good thing because as human beings, all the material progress that we have achieved outside does not always translate into the inner, spiritual or psychological or mental progress. And sometimes things can get overbearing and sometimes things get difficult. So I think it's good to have those conversations, meet with like-minded people, see what the experiences are, and if we can educate each other and help each other to, deal with the complexity. The world is a complex place indeed. So
I feel like what you're saying is this experience that I also had of sort of with age and time and comfort in my intellectual position, becoming more focused on being this human being versus a human doing. And so much of our life and so much of what we've been trained to do, I feel like, is focused on the doing. And I think the doing is so beautiful. I love what we do at Computomics, right? But I also love being there because of who we are. And I know it's a corporation or it's a company, and so the being of the company is, well, can be questioned, but the being of the individuals behind it, I think that means something of who we are and what we put into the world and what we want to put into the world. And that's why I think when I interact with people like yourself and other people who I feel like are on this dual path of I don't know how to say it. I guess it's like doing better for the world, but also doing better for humanity, for who humanity is. You know what I mean? I connect to that, and I really believe in that. And I really believe that if we focus on our ability to be human beings, we can do more than if we are just focused on these external things that we do. Does that mean anything to you?
I think that you're right on the spot with that, and that's what it is about. Oftentimes we give priority to the material world. It's definitely important for us to, go to school, grow up the way we grow up, and listen to our parents, the expectations of the society, the relatives, the friends, and then have peer pressure of all sorts, and then move through this system and create a career of choice. Uh, I wonder how often people are really happy with the things that they do. That's a question that I ask many of my friends, and I never get a good answer. That I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. So oftentimes it's a mixture of all those, confusions, simply because we are not grounded, um, we are not connected to the heart. You if you look at the choices you make in life, and if you want to reflect, because you have achieved a certain age and maturity that could do that, you will see a lot of inconsistency. But whether they are good or bad, whether you would have had, what would happen if you had other choice, and what would your life be, those are complicated discussions too. So I think the acceptance can help you there. Flexibility in the sense, of course, I know I could have been different. I could have been a certain celebrity or personality that I want to be, I aspire to be, but I am a celebrity for myself because I survived. I understood how life is, and I could deal with most of, its difficulties and challenges, and I am here today where I am. Oftentimes the problems come because we don't reward ourselves enough for what we have done, and we always are unsatisfied with our own progress. And the underrated self and the perceptual position of the expectations that we perceive from the society. Oftentimes, in 99% of the cases, we behave with perceptual position. I have rarely seen people who are so calculated because they are grounded in reality and their heart and mind functions in the same way, but we function as a result of our societies do that. I mean, not just a human being, a collective society does that. So understanding these things is very critical, especially at these points, which allow us to reflect on it. And we are forced to reflect, to be really frank now in this situation. You're grounded, I'm grounded, we are working from home, we have time to reflect. So that is also silver lining. It's a blessing in disguise. You can see to the grim situation that we're in, you could still see rays of hope, and still probably it's expected that we rejuvenate the inner self among ourselves, and then come up as a society that's more responsible. Don't you feel you have gotten a bit more mindful than what you were, or at least I do that, than I was in March, in terms of how we deal with situations? Yeah, so that's one way to deal with it.
I agree. I think that's something that I've definitely felt like is embraced within our company culture, and also something that I really try to discuss with my kids is the concept that continue to ask what I'm learning. And it's sort of this concept of what am I learning really moves you away from this regret. It's everything can be a lesson, and everything can be wonderful. And I know that people have had real trauma in their lives, so this is not downplaying that or negating that. I don't want to get a lot of hate mail saying what happened to me was just terrible, I learned nothing. But you know for a large portion of what's happening in life, I think it's wonderful. I don't know, it's wonderful for me to be able to interact with people like you and really learn, and really sort of have a mirror to look back against, and to think of how are people experiencing this in another part of the world, in a different society, but in the same reality, but it's sort of a different reality. And it's sort of, I don't know, it's a wonderful thought to have that we all share this experience, and that maybe our fears, our anger, our hopelessness can be dissipated and restored by others. Do you feel that that ability of us to lift each other up as well?
Mhm. I think the discussion we're having is very central, and I think a lot of experts around the world are discussing that, because the immediate product of this progress, this modern world, uh, is people are getting tired, people are getting stressed. Not to mention that the resources are getting, less. We have to deal with the global problems, and the system we are putting, the competition is high. People are getting better at everything, doing everything every day. But as I said, if you can come back to the very human, body that deals with all of that, and try to improve that within yourself, it will improve your response to each and everything you do in your life. and it will affect your personal life. It will improve your ability to deal with your children, with your husband, with your wife, with your friends, with your parents, with your neighbors significantly. And that is something you could see over a period of time. That is something that's not, a tangible or something that you can hold in hand, but it's substantial, and you will feel it. Others will feel it. So the interactions will get pleasant. You will become more mindful, and you will become more aware of, where were the problems. And it's also the time when you start to focus not just on, fight and flight mode, the amygdala hijack. It's very well known because we are essentially, as a human being, are selected to assess every possible cue in our environment as a signal, whether it's a it's a threat to me, or whether it's an opportunity for me to, benefit. That's how we assess. So that's a very basic response we have. Even if we are modern, our response is so rudimentary to it, and our reactions are caused as a result of that. So not everybody does that. Some people have the spiritual awakening or the access to that knowledge, and who are more grounded, or who basically don't have any knowledge and are not thinking about that. There are different kinds of people. But I think if you are somewhere in the middle where you're trying to find the answers to these questions, and if you feel that your life needs to have, you want a breather, you want to reflect on, and this is the right time, if you feel that strongly, I would say you have to access that. You have to, and there's so much out there, so many resources out there. It's just, there's going to be a lot of information that you will have to filter. And I am not an expert in that. I am a person who is on journey. Maybe I'm a little bit more ahead because I have reprioritized these things within me. And I would not be afraid. Slowly, I'm just gathering the courage to make difficult choices in terms of, moving to something that I like to do even more than what I do, or, letting it go and letting the flow take me. Because if I look back and reflect on the things that have happened to me or to many of my friends, I can say that confident for a lot of people. Nothing terribly goes wrong unless you continue to make bad choices. But what goes wrong is because you don't break the old habits of overthinking about a certain thing, about being so sensitive to your perceptual positions and the reactions you give as a result to your colleagues, to your family, and the energy that you pass on to them as a result of that. Your aura, you are what you are within you. So your aura is not. I mean, look at. I don't want to pick up names or societies or cultures, because I am very neutral in that sense. But I think, how insensitive are we now these days? If somebody by mistake bumps into our yard, our fence, our car, our how insensitive we have gotten. We have gotten to the level where we could start suing people, basically from within our own country. Basically, we start having divisions about the progress the country, the path to progress our country should take. So if we cannot unite for a common cause, even within our own community or country, we should reflect and see, why it's coming, because we are not in line with, what we want to see is best fit for humanity. Because we have never looked at it as humanity. We look at it because it's part of our profession, our boss requires us to do, because we perceive that's important. But understanding all of it from a human perspective, and in terms of responding to this situation, will help us all, irrespective of the background that you come from. Whether somebody comes from Antarctica or Mars or India or Africa, any country for that matter, or Middle East or anywhere, we have the same biological challenge, because we let the outside world influence us too much. We are not at peace, and I have suffered it as a result. I'm not saying I am a spiritual guru, but I'm a victim of that as well. But I deny to accept this situation, and I deny letting my conscious mind control my subconscious mind, and letting my subconscious mind, which is full of all the conscious signals, which are very misleading, to control my life. So I'm starting this journey within myself to change that, and it's really up to you whether you can afford to start dealing with yourself, or whether you're ready or not. And that's true for everybody. I think we have to get it clear. We have to, and then you can get help. I mean, if you're unclear, maybe give some more time. Maybe there will be something that will happen to you, and that has the aha moment for you, and then you start, reflecting a little more on that. Maybe that will be a different than that what I'm at. But sharing these things openly will definitely help each other. It will help us to better understand, since we are not the experts of these difficult conversations. We are getting to know these things now, but sharing at this point is the best thing we can do to deal with this situation, because we have gotten to a stage where we deal with almost the same problem. Look at COVID. We are literally in the same boat. Your kids are doing homeschooling, mine are. You are ordering everything online. I am ordering on everything online. You are following social distancing. I am doing that. You're facing similar challenges in doing work from home. I am doing the same. So the problems are not unique anymore.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I think, this interview is obviously a bold leap of faith. It's certainly not about, plant breeding, and it's not about machine learning, but I think it is about something that is so integral about moving society forward. And if our algorithms are meant to make our society better, then I think our human connection is also meant to make society better. And why not bring it to light? And not everybody will resonate, like you said, and that's okay. And those that don't resonate, I hope they like our talks on metagenomics instead. So thank you, Salkap. I really appreciate it, and I hope this was also worthwhile for you.
Definitely, it was indeed a great experience, and I think I'm very delighted. We have had this talk, and as I said, it is really an individual's decision, on to, whether they want to get started with these things, and see whether they have the need. But I think overall, there's no harm in connecting and reflecting on the things that happen within us, and move forward, and make a progress in personal and professional lives, and as a society. So thank you for this opportunity again. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this unique episode and this opportunity to think about these broader topics of humanity. And we have one more episode left this year around Christmas time, where we will discuss what Computomics has accomplished this year and where we are taking our technology next year. So you have that to look forward to, and we look forward to hearing from you.